Alright, so this is going to be a video on talking about the new super boss battle that should be coming out for global version. It is King that will be the first one that should come out. So I'm just going to talk about the couple of units that you should be focusing on just because the King itself will be pretty hard to beat. So I'm just going to name some of the units and just talk about them as well. But this right here, there's going to be 3 different stages. The first stage, it should be a hard. Then there should be an extreme, and then it should be a hell. This one will give you on the hard will give you bronze coins. The next one would give you silver ones, and then the next one after will give you gold. These coins basically will be things that you can actually use into the exchange shop, and you can get King's new outfit and so on. So you want to do that whenever obviously you get the chance to. But basically, we're going to talk about the units that you can use on here. So since I'm on global, I kind of want to just talk about the specific units that you can run. Now, one thing to note is that King is going to be super duper hard because one, he can actually debuff you like crazy, and he can just attack all. So it's going to be very annoying. You have to be very careful on how you do it. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any footage of him just because it was such a long time ago that I never really did the recordings or anything like that. But for the units themselves, there are a couple units that you can run. Now, if you want to attack super hard against King, there are certain units that you can fight him with. Now, he is a blue type unit, so you can use green type units completely. Now, if you want to do it that way, then you have to be careful on how you do this because King, it will be difficult regardless. Now, one thing to note is that King is a enemy that will attack units that are at a disadvantage. So if you use any other unit that is let's just say a red type, right, he's gonna attack red type units that would lose pretty fast, so he'll attack them. The other thing is to know that he does have 2 extra minions that will be next to you or next to him that debuff you. So be careful with that, because if you get debuffed the more times, then you're not going to attack a lot, you're going to have really terrible defense and so on. So talk about the first unit, because if you're going to do it based off damaging, then you want to talk about the Mellows, right? So this green Mellows will be one of the best units to have for the Green King. Because you want to do a lot of damage, right, you can use this unit. Now, be careful, because whenever you use this unit, he most likely will have to get his full he'll most likely have to get his full counter. So if you can get to his full 2-star, 3-star, that's where he's going to do his high damage dealing. But with his 1st-star skill, since he does just crazy damage for his percentage, this is where this unit will shine because of this attack. Now, a good thing to know is this unit can also, he can actually cancel buffs and stances, which is super good because King can buff himself up, right? Well, he gets buffed up basically, and that's one thing. If you use his ultimate, Meliodas' ultimate, you can actually get rid of that buff, and it will be very helpful because King does a lot of attack boosts. So if he boosts himself up more, he's just going to take out your team super fast. So this right here, you can cancel the buffs. Now, I'm not too sure if I remember correctly if you can actually stun him though, because I'm not sure if he's immune to that. But if he is, then that's going to be unfortunate, but you're going to be mainly looking at your buffs and stances that you can take away from him. But if you can stun him, that's going to be still really good. I just don't remember exactly if you're able to, but I do remember that he can buff himself up, and that he does focus on units that are weaker than him. So this unit obviously is a green type unit, so you can actually use him towards that, and obviously his passive, you can get an increase of crit chance, so the less HP he has. So less HP he has, then you can actually use the full counter and do a lot more damage from him. So that's mainly what he's going to be there for, the damage scaling. So I'll probably actually work on him really soon. But the second unit you would probably want to work on is going to be Jericho, because obviously we're talking about attacking units. This right here will be one of the best hard-hitting units in the game, especially against this blue King. So obviously, since he's a blue type unit, this green type Jericho will do the most damage. Now, to know this, you need to know this right here. So this right here obviously is her bleed card. This bleed card is going to be a debuff towards an enemy. Now, if you do a debuff on the enemy and then you use her first skill attack, her weak point is going to actually do a 3 times damage multiplier against debuffed enemies. As you can see, 3 times damage against debuffed enemies. You want to do higher attacking cards, obviously, like 2-star and 3-star if possible, because that's where your damage dealing will be done. And obviously, if you do have a 6-6 unit like me, which this is a 6-6, which is amazing, this Jericho is disgusting with her ultimate, because her her percentage is much higher than any other units, and the good thing is that she has a 2 times crit damage increase. So obviously when you go into this unit, you want to start focusing on her gear, and you want to make sure she has attack gear as well as crit damage gear. So you can see like this right here, I have crit damage gear. Now I could start using SSR gear obviously, but that's gonna be too hard to grind out. So I have these 2 gear setups right now. Obviously I have the attack gear or attack substats for a little bit of it, and then we have crit damage substats as well. And then on the left side you can see attack and crit damage. So she can do a lot of damage. Like I would try to like reroll these, but I don't have any anvils right now, and I'm not going to use gems, but she's super good for that. So you want to use this unit because she just does insane damage. This would probably be your nuking unit, but be careful because when you get debuffed by kings like minions, then you're gonna basically like, you know, not do a lot of damage. So just be careful on how you use her. Her passive obviously is an increased crit chance by 10% per hero skill use. So the more she builds up, the more damage she'll be doing because of her chance of critting. Now that is the second unit for attacking damage, and I'm going to talk about other units that will help you as a support type unit and as well as just being good. So one unit I do want to talk about, right, is going to be Bond. So Bond, you can actually use him, right? He is going to be a good attacking unit because he can attack all as well as extorting. So obviously his extort can take away targets increase on stats and boost Bond up himself. So if you attack King, you're gonna take away his attack and defense, so you can lower his defense and then try to go for you know, Jericho or Mellows to do the more damage. So you can use it that way, right? And if obviously if you do a 3-star, you do even more attack and defense. So you can have this kind of unit to do that because he's actually good for this, and then you can use his 1-star skill just to do more damage. Now just be careful. Now even though this is an attack all attack, the minions don't really have much of a like health. I don't think they're really ones that you can actually take out. You want to focus on King because the minions have like crazy health, so it's not even worth it doing it. You want to focus on King. So even if you hit this card, right, the thing is this is going to do the lifesteal, and that's the main thing about this card. You want to take a portion of the damage dealt, right, to heal yourself up. So him and you know, Bond himself is very self-sufficient because of that reason. So focus on getting this unit up because of that. Now it's only a couple units that you definitely want to focus completely, but if you have Bond already and you've worked on him already, then you should be good to go with that. Just know that he is one of the units that you can try using, but I don't think he's going to be that amazing to use. I would try to use him and just see like what teams you can run, because these are specific units you can see that would be very helpful for you. Then you have his ultimate. Obviously his ultimate, as you can see, is going to extort as well, which is the same thing as his 2-star skill, or a second skill attack, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, debuff card. This extort obviously decreases the target stats and increases his own stats by the same amount, and then he doesn't do too much damage with this card, so don't expect like crazy damage, but he'll at least do that extort, which will help you for 2 turns. Now to talk about the next units based on cards, we're going to talk about Gothru. So Gothru obviously is the best unit in the game. Now, like I said before, King takes out a unit that is weaker than him, and a unit that has a disadvantage on type-wise. So he's gonna focus on Gothru, right? So he is a red type unit. Gothru obviously himself, you have to be careful because he is there just for supports. Now, when you use his card, you're only using it mainly for his rank up, right? As long as you can get his rank ups, that's gonna be very, very helpful towards other units that can do more damage, like Jericho or Mellows. Focus on getting those cards up to their 2-star and 3-star cards, and then focus on doing that big deal damage. Now if I remember correctly, I don't think this 2-star or 3-star card can actually disable attack skills, because I think King can actually just purify that. I don't remember exactly, but I'll have to you know, confirm that whenever he comes out. But if possible, this will be a good card to have because you can disable the attack skills and then actually, you know, strategize it out properly towards King. But if I remember correctly, I don't think you can actually disable him, to be honest. I don't think you can. Then obviously his ult right here, this ult will be very helpful because you can actually deplete 3 ultimate gauge orbs, or 5 obviously if you have King, but I don't think that's a really good idea to use him, because I don't think you can even do that. I don't remember if that's okay. Yeah, so taking away 3 ultimate move gauge orbs is just really good. That's going to be very helpful, especially against King, because he can ult everyone, so you have to be careful on that. So just try to use this if possible, but he most likely will die. You want to see if he can survive until the next round, because there's 2 rounds to King. But if Gothru can survive till the second round, then you'll be very good. And obviously his passive is super good because he increases attack by 10% of all allies at the start of next turn, as long as he doesn't take damage. But obviously you're going to take damage because King attacks all. So that's another unit you can try. Like I said, if you already have these units, make sure you have them on level 70, have them 5 to 6 stars, and hope for the best with that. So that's another unit you can try using, right? And now there are 2 more units that or actually 3 more units I want to talk about. One unit I want to talk about is going to be Merlin. So Merlin is going to be one of the better units to have because, one, her perfect cube, right? Her perfect cube is a card that is going to basically put up a barrier, and that's, imagine just an extra health bar for a little bit more damage base. So this right here is going to do a 2-star, 3-star perfect cube, which is going to create a barrier around all allies equal to 375% of attack for 2 turns. So basically just imagine another defense, barrier, for example, and this will help you out a lot. King attacks all. This perfect cube will be very crucial for that. And stuff like this, you have to be very careful on how you do it, because King can probably just take out this 2-star really fast, and then you'll start taking damage again. So just know that when you use this perfect cube, make sure you have like maybe 1 or 2 of them in your card set, and then just use it back to back when you need to once you lose it. Now her main card skill is obviously taking away ultimate gauge orbs, because she can deplete them. So as a 1-star and 2-star card difference, she's only going to do a difference of damage wise. So she has 120% on the first skill, 300% on the second skill, but she takes away ultimate gauge orbs. That's the big thing. You want to take away King's ultimate moves, because he's going to do a lot of damage on you. So if you can take that away, then this unit will be really good for that. The 3-star obviously takes away 3 ultimate move gauge orbs, which is even better. So try to get your 3-star cards. Now the thing to know is you can have Gothru and you can use these as rank up cards, but be careful. Like I said, Gothru will most likely be taken out really fast. So try to finish King off really fast in the first round, because the second round is going to be even much harder. So the second one, now sometimes the thing to note is that I forgot to say this, but this card itself sometimes won't do damage on King. I think the second round, if I remember correctly, won't do anything to him at all. So you can't take away his ultimate move gauge because he's immune to it. I'm pretty sure, I think that was in his second round, because he gets an even bigger buff to him. Then her ultimate can do disables attack skills, but that's one thing I don't remember. Like I said, this is very vague on how far ago King was, but when he comes out, obviously we'll go through this again. But this is another unit you could focus on grinding out, because of doing a lot of damage, as well as disabling attack skills. Then obviously her passive, which is a really good thing, because she fills all allies ultimate move gauge orb by 1, and that's at the start of the battle, obviously. So you're gonna have 2 move gauge orbs already on your players, and you can get that up really fast, because you can basically do an ult rush with, let's just say, Jericho. If you have Jericho, right, and you want to run Merlin, Jericho, and Gothru, you can basically do a ult rush with them, and then you can hope for the best with finishing off with Jericho. So Jericho is going to be a unit I really want to try when King does come out. So when he does come out, we'll definitely be making a lot of videos on that. So Merlin is one of the other units to have. Now there's one more unit, well actually 2 more units I want to talk about. One unit for sure is this Elizabeth. I'm going to say this right now. Elizabeth is going to be only there for either healing if you need to heal, right? So if possible, heal with her. And then her last thing is going to be her passive. Her passive is allies are healed for 10% of max HP at the start of the next turn when taking damage. So she is going to be a unit that you're going to have in the 4th slot. Nothing more, nothing less. She's literally going to be in the 4th slot right over here, and that's where you're going to keep her at. So like this, basically. You're going to have her like that, and that's all she's doing. In your sub slot, the other main 3 units are going to be the units that you want to focus on, actually using. But other than that, I mean, she's only there for that other reason. But if we talk about these 3 units, that's basically what you want to run, and then have a lane. Not a lane. Let me not talk about a lane yet, but let's just say this team right here, just to throw it out, just randomly like this. That's the team you can try using, right, and hope for the best with this. With Gothru, like I said, he will die pretty fast, so be careful on that. But the one last unit I did want to talk about is going to be Elaine. So Elaine, Unfortunately, which is crazy, she and JP was a unit that actually came out when this King event came out, and she was one of the better units to have. Now, the reason why is because she actually does really good card skills. So this first card skill is going to do some decent damage. She won't do crazy damage, but she'll do enough to, like, you know, actually take King's health out. And then the thing is, she decreases skill ranks. So that's gonna be really nice to see, because if she can take away skill ranks from King, then King won't do as much damage as he should, compared to, you know, his 2-star, 3-star attacks, whatever is set up for him. But the good thing is, she also takes away ultimate move gauge orbs by the number of skill ranks she decreases. So she can basically be a unit like Merlin, where decreasing ultimate moves gauge orbs is really helpful. But this isn't the main card you're going to focus on using. It's her second skill that's going to be the more better unit, or better card to use, because this is the one that also takes away ultimate move gauge orbs. So her 2-star takes away 1, and her 3-star takes away 3. So if you have a unit like that, that's going to be very helpful, because King, you want to avoid his ultimate at all costs. Now, her ultimate, this is the same thing with Meliodas. The green Meliodas is exact same style, where she cancels buffs and stances and then stuns for 1 turn. Like I said, I don't remember if stun can actually work on King, but if it does, that's good, because that gives you an extra you know, turn to play and hope for the best to get cards in your hand. But the buffs is a big thing, because like I said, King buffs like crazy, and those attack buffs will deal you so much damage, it's gonna be annoying. So this card itself is super good for that. Her passive, I mean, her passive's not really doing much, but other than increases fairy allied HP related stats by 15%. But obviously, you're not gonna have any allies that are fairies. So she is definitely a unit. I'm gonna work on her for sure, because I can easily get her up to level 70. I have 11 SSR pendants, and I'll work on the books whenever I need to. But she is another unit to focus on for sure. And yeah, that's pretty much those main units to work on. Other than I don't think there's any more units I can really work on realistically. I mean, for the beginning of global, that's mainly what you would want to run. I mean, you could run this unit right here, this Elizabeth, just because she is going to remove buffs, which is helpful, and cancel buffs and stances on her 3-star, because the buffs is the biggest thing against King. Then this unit can also heal and removes debuffs, and obviously you're going to get debuffed a lot, so you could try that. And then her ultimate is going to heal all allies, and then fills the ultimate move gauge by 2. And that could be very helpful as well if you want to ult rush if possible, and try to do that. So yeah, those are the main units you want to focus on for the teams. I will go ahead and do a full video on King when he is out, so hopefully you guys do want to see that. If you guys have any kind of questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to help you guys out as much as possible, as much as I can remember the King boss battle. But when he does come out, he should be shown up in over here on this side right here. This thing right there, once it pops up, is where you'll be able to do the boss battle. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys have any kind of questions, let me know. But that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. If you guys did enjoy, drop a like. If you guys are brand new to the channel, guys, subscribe. We're close to hitting 16,000 subscribers, guys. We'll probably hit that sometime this week, or maybe next week at most. But thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.